So just
Good morning.
good morning. Happy Earth Day to all the participants who are here and the resource persons from the university. Mr. Muthi sir is the secretary, the
Good
Henry
morning,
Fund
sir.
Secretary of Nazareth Institutions.
Good.
Good morning, sir. I'm happy to be a part of this event, sir. It's a pleasure and honor to be
Thank you
here.
very much. Thank you very much. We are very happy to see you first time, as that too virtually.
So happy Earth Day to all of you. Professor Krishnamurthy, our Vice Chancellor
Yeah.
sir is coming, He's joining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My colleagues are here, both Professor Sridhar and Professor Jaiprakash.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Professor JP. The background is very nice.
Sir?
The background is very nice.
Hussain, sir, good morning.
Very good morning, Professor Jaiprakash.
Thank you, sir.
Very good morning.
Very good morning, everyone.
Sir, good morning,
Yeah,
sir.
good morning.
Very good.
Good morning, Professor Sridhar.
Hello. Sir. Dear participants, good morning. Welcome to the International Conference on Restoring Earth to Normalcy. We will resume at 10:30. Kindly be online. Meanwhile, as our Vice Chancellor joins us at 10:30, you can watch one of our videos, which is based on the biodiversity of Nazareth institutions. Please see that and enjoy the video. Just give us 2 minutes to share this video with you. Thank you. There is no audio. Can you please, webinar NCS, please mute the audio.
Yes, we can do.
Thank you, Pradeep. That was a very good video. This is the biodiversity of Nazareth institutions, and it was photographed by our Viscom faculty, Mr. Pradeep Kumar. VC will join us shortly, sir, another five minutes. Until Sir joins, I think I will share with you the Earth Day, earthday.org. They are having many celebrations. So I can present now. We can have a look at all the celebrations that is being carried out the world around us. Are you able to see the presentation, Krishnamurthy sir?
Yes, the screen is coming.
Yes, that Earth Day screen. Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes, visible.
Yes. This is the Earth Day celebrations website, and we have, as Nazareth College of Arts and Science, we have registered with this. And soon after this program is over, 3-day celebrations, we'll be updating our report to this website. We have become a member of earthday.org. There is going to be a Earth Day live program from 1 p.m. today. So people who are interested can watch it. There are also stories from various countries being shared. You're also allowed to take a quiz if you're really interested and you have the time. I'd also make up the time by sharing our website. Yes, Nazit College of Arts and Science.
Dr. Mary Angeline, can I have one question?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just wanted to know, where did you shoot those beautiful butterflies and beautiful flowers? Where did you shoot them?
All our Nazareth institutions, the garden that we have, the biodiversity we have here at Nazareth institutions, we have the
Within
landscape
the
you would have
campus?
seen in the within the campus itself, yes, sir. And we have a school also from Nazareth institutions. We do have a very big garden, and we are coming out with the Miyawaki forest inside the campus. And thanks to our secretary who has given us land and permission to have the Miyawaki forest there. And we are also doing, I'm really happy to say that Nazareth Institution is working for Avadi. We want to bring greenery to Avadi. So maximum number of trees would be from Nazareth College of Arts and Science and its sister institutions. We will make Avadi green. So when you have an aerial view, you will see more of trees and less of buildings. I hope so.
Absolutely. I think Abdi needs 33% of green cover. I think
Yes.
that was the vision that we wanted to bring in.
Yes,
So
sir.
thank you so much for taking all the initiative to bring that. But
Thank you, sir.
I never knew we had so much of beautiful flowers inside the campus. I didn't see them. I didn't, spot them.
Yes, yes. Actually, when we went for shooting, it's our Pradeep who had taken, he had spent some time sitting there and taking a video of those bees, those butterflies. I myself didn't know that we had a few varieties there inside the campus. And still more, we have a very big video, but we were not, it will take 2 to 3 hours for us to share. But seeing this, the time schedule, we need to follow the time schedule. We just made it to the short video. Maybe we'll be sharing the next 2 days.
Super.
Krishnamurthy, sir,
Yes, please. Yes, I think our Vice
we
Chancellor
will,
will
we,
be
we will
joining
should,
at,
yes.
will be
I think
joining at
the
10:30.
yes, yes. And I think the university also is looking very green these days.
Yes, sir. Yes, that credit goes to our NSS coordinators, the
Okay.
previous coordinator and present coordinator. They're taking up a lot of greenery activities within our campuses, and see that the today's conference title is very, very attractive. How to bring back normalcy. And I live in a gated community in Chennai, and there is about 250 plus houses. And during the last 1 year, especially during the lockdown, everybody is very particular about the other amenities like gym and clubhouse, something like that.
Okay.
But the awareness about the importance of greenery is limited. And that is the important reason that we have to instill the importance of this kind of greenery activities through the young minds. And through this kind of NSS activities, maybe the college can adapt some of the neighborhood areas to make it green. What
Yes, sir.
your secretary mentioned, this really is a very, very innovative idea that Nasrat College is taking, adopting the neighborhood areas to make it green. And
Thank you, sir.
so this kind of activities should be encouraged, especially the younger generation should be utilized for this kind of purpose. And this actually the webinar speakers, we have a subject specialist in this particular field, and Dr. Nagarajan from the Curtin University, Malaysia. He is an environmental geochemistry, basically his specialization, and he is now the R&D director of the Curtin University campus in Malaysia. And
Okay.
he'll be talking about that earth and its environment. And tomorrow morning, Dr. Shivkumar, he is from the oil exploration company, that is Geolog International, headquarters in Amsterdam. And he'll be talking more about that, how to balance between this kind of development and as well as the nature. We are fully depending on this kind of natural resources like oil and natural gas. So how to maintain sustainability between our development and nature. So this is going to be main highlight of these two speakers. And one interesting thing is I personally observed that Dr. Mary Angeline is more towards nature. And many information I received through WhatsApp from her, that especially dealing with indoor plants. So many, it's very amazing that social work expert is having his mindset is more of pro nature. So definitely the head of the institution is having this kind of vision. Definitely it will reach the student community, and then definitely the society will be benefited at a larger scale. This is one interesting observation I have seen as a very proactive principal of our own University Affiliated College. A really privileged to have her as our collaborator. This is our new beginning. I think this is our third month webinar, joint webinar. I think.
Yes, sir. Exactly, sir. Third
Yeah.
webinar.
We started in January, I think February. We started under the theme of sustainable development goals. And this is the third webinar. Mere coincidence that we are celebrating Earth today. And definitely we'll bring many experts like this, and then so that our student community will be really get benefited. And
Yes, sir.
connecting experts from across the world through this kind of virtual mode is very, very easy task. We can say that very easy, and bringing them in offline mode is very Herculean task. But virtual mode is it's a very easiest way to connect. So my thing is, even during the session also, when the speakers are giving presentation, I encourage your students to ask questions if they have any queries, and whether it is related to the environment or earth, or even related to their higher studies in this particular domain, and they can feel free to interact with the experts.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your kind words, sir.
Okay. I think then my colleague Dr. Vanita Agarwal is here. Is an NSS coordinator of our university. Maybe she would like to share few words. What is her vision and
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, Vanita ma'am.
And Professor Krishnamurthy.
Good. Happy to see you here.
It is my privilege as part of NSS family to collaborate with Nazrat Institute. And as a personal note, also I'm always towards green nature. And today's 3-day webinar will help us to understand because we have a strength of 24,000 volunteers. And I hope these 3 days will be able to learn how we can contribute through our volunteering efforts towards making the earth more sustainable, more green. And I'm really happy when I saw the biodiversity that you showed through the video, like Mr.
Thank
Henry
you.
was asking. I was also thinking from where these pictures are taken. I'm so happy and that these are actually from your institute.
Yes, yes, very much, ma'am.
And
Actually, I
that,
was also not aware that all these flowers exist within the institution itself. I
and
didn't
it
know
makes
that.
us realize that what is possible, what we can do. Generally, we think all these things we can see only in a forest area, but mostly our campuses are big enough where we can have biodiversity. And I have seen as a management expert also, it is not only for biodiversity. When we have greenery around us, actually our capability and competency is also improved. One thing is, yes, we get more oxygen, but otherwise also if we are in an enclosed place, our creativity is hit. I always feel when you are in an open place, when the place is full of biodiversity, it always improves your performance. So,
You're
and
right, ma'am.
I want to I want to assure you that as part of NSS family, because my program officers are there, my volunteers are there, will implement whatever we learn in these 3 days. I always feel sometimes we only learn and then it is not implemented. So I want to assure you, and I hope we will also one day we'll be able to present a video to what Nazrat College has done, and we will be also able to do that. Various other colleges across Chennai.
We support you, ma'am. We are always there. As
I'm so
affiliated
happy
institutions,
and
I think.
thankful to the Nazrat College for collaborating with us and making us part of this webinar.
Thank you for accepting, ma'am. Thanks a lot. I'll just. If Princey is there, she can just go ahead by announcing the program schedule so that we can start a program. Just share the schedule.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning to all the dignitaries. Uh, First, we have the welcome address and the theme by our principal, Dr. Mary Angelin. We then have the inaugural address by the Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Gowri. We then have the felicitation by our Secretary, sir. Then we move on to session one. By session one, Dr. Christopher Guna will be taking the session. And then we have the visual treat. For those who missed it, we'll do the visual treat again. And then we will be moving on to session two by Dr. Nagarajan Ramaswamy, Professor Earth and Planetary Sciences from Malaysia. Then we have a special poster presentations by our student. Then we have the World Earth Day pledge. We have question answer session. We then have announcement, and then it ends up with a vote of thanks. Thank you, ma'am.
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to every
Good
one
morning,
of
sir.
you.
Vanakkam, sir.
Yeah.
Good
Sir,
morning,
very good morning.
Morning. Good morning to all of you.
Sir,
morning.
Morning,
thank you
sir.
so
Henry
much for
this side.
joining us, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Can you go ahead, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Good morning to all the dignitaries, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Madras, Honorable Dr. Gauri, the delegates, professors, research scholars, and the students. With great joy and immense pleasure, I welcome you all who have joined us for this virtual international conference to celebrate the Earth Day. And before we could start the session, prayer does not use up artificial energy, doesn't burn up any fossil fuel, doesn't pollute. Neither does song, neither does love, neither does the dance. Let us begin the session with a prayer song. Dear audience, kindly excuse us for the technical problem in playing the prayer song. I now request our principal, Dr. Mary Angeline Sandosham, to present the welcome address and to brief on today's theme.
Thank you, Princey. Good morning to all and wishing you a happy World Earth Day. It is my pleasure to extend a cheerful welcome to you all. Your presence makes us very happy. The theme for Earth Day 2020 is to restore our Earth, which focuses on restoring the world's ecosystems through natural processes, emerging green technologies, and innovative thinking. This includes support for local communities and areas that are disproportionately affected by environmental issues. Nasdaq College is hosting this international virtual conference on restoring our Earth to normalcy in collaboration with the Department of Applied Geology under the leadership of Dr. R. Krishnamurthy and NSS unit under the leadership of Dr. Vanita Agarwal. This collaboration would not be possible without the motivation of our Vice Chancellor, sir. Having said that, it is my great privilege and honor to extend a warm welcome to Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. S. Gauri, University of Madras, for honoring the conference with his presence and supporting us in all our effort to bring greenery in Chennai. I will fail in my duty if I do not mention that our Vice Chancellor loves plants and has made out the University of Madras look beautiful and green around. As we enter the university, we feel at peace and happy to see the green plants around. We welcome you, sir. My warm welcome to Mr. A. Henry Morris, Secretary, Nazareth College of Arts and Science. He has been a strong supporter of nature and our green ambassador. He has given us the privilege of planting trees and making Avadi beautiful. We welcome you, sir. I also welcome Dr. Krishnamurthy, Head Department of Applied Geology, University of Madras, and Director in Charge UGC HRD, UNOM, for collaborating with us. We welcome you, sir. I welcome Dr. Vanita Agarwal, Assistant Professor, Department of Management Studies, and NSS Coordinator in Charge, the University of Madras, for connecting with us in all the NSS units of colleges affiliated to UNOM Chennai. We welcome you, ma'am. I welcome our resource person, Dr. Christopher Guna, the Senior Research Scientist, Mahatma Gandhi University, Kerala. Dr. Christopher spends 60% of his time with trees and animals, and we welcome you, sir. I welcome our resource person for session 2, Dr. Nagarajan Ramasamy, Professor, Earth and Planetary Sciences, Curtin University, Sarawak, Malaysia. He is an alumnus of the University of Madras, and I'm glad that he has very graciously accepted the invitation of Dr. Krishnamurthy. Welcome, sir. I extend a warm welcome to all the participants, faculty members, organizing committee members, viewers who are watching in YouTube, and all the people who chose to join today. You have given your valuable time for this. Once again, I extend a warm welcome to one and all present here. To continue with my address about this event, nature is the most beautiful creation God has provided, which shelters all the living creatures on earth. We are born in the lap of nature and finally blend with it as we depart. Nature makes our life colorful. Nature is very important for humans and are needed to survive and thrive. Earth is the only planet known to support life, and its natural features are the subject of many fields of scientific research. The earth is abundant with living things such as plants, animals, water, air, and human beings. The earth asks us to take care of it so that in doing, we can take care of ourselves and our future generations and humans, plants, animals, air, and water. People are becoming more and more selfish as they forget Mother Nature. For this selfish concern, they're cutting down trees, killing birds, animals, and many species of birds and animals are even wiped out altogether. This year, Earth's Day, lands upon a shaken world as mankind seeks a return to a form of normalcy. Simply going through to business as usual is not an option. The pandemic has reminded us of the fragility of the world, our societies and economies, and the need to protect ourselves from disasters, including climate change and the ecosystem destruction. We must restore and preserve the natural world because we live in it. Every one of us needs a healthy earth to support our jobs, livelihoods, health, and survival. Our future generation needs a healthy earth to live in. With these few words, I once again wish you all a happy Earth Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. We feel honored to have here with us our honorable chief guest of the day, His Excellency Dr. Gauri, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Madras, who hardly needs any introduction. He is a man of distinct vision and source of unique ideas, whose knowledge and experience is an insight to all of us. Sir, we are delighted to have you here in our midst. I humbly request you to deliver the inaugural address.
Okay, thank you for the kind invitation. First of all, I used to check in any webinar, am I audible and visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank
You
you very
are,
much.
sir.
Yeah. It's a great pleasure for me to participate in this wonderful, meaningful, and mostly practically possible. And the need of today is this type of conferences on these topics. This special day is a Earth Saving Day, or we should say every day should be an Earth Saving Day. And as a commemorate to that, we celebrate once in a year. But that should be in the minds of every one of us and every day. And this is a more appropriate platform to speak about this, how we can save the earth. And I wholeheartedly appreciate and thankful to the principal, Mary Angeline, Dr. Angeline, Mary Angeline, who has come forward to take up the projects. And also appreciate our own faculty members, Professor R.R. Krishnamurthy from the Department of Geology, is also the director of the HRC Center, which was previously known as Academic College. And Dr. Vinita Agarwal, the coordinator of the National Service NSS program of this university, and other faculty members, scientists from the country, from the city, as well as from Malaysia. Really, I'm very proud to participate in this. And when I was asked to preside over this, I asked Madam Principal Mary Angeline, Madam, what can I speak? Then she said, sir, you can speak because you love nature. Yes, it's true. Because in one of my vision statement, in my application for the Vice Chancellor post, I included the university will be enriched with fauna and flora. That I mentioned in that. Because not only the trees and the plants, but other creatures, other insects, that's also should be preserved, protected, and they should be given freedom. So in that way, we can save the earth not only by the plants or the trees or the floral activities, but also other, in Tamil we say, Matra Jivarasigalam. Like that, we should protect them. Then only we can save the earth. For example, if there is no butterfly, there is no honeybee, then the world cannot exist. There was a statement, a prolonged research on honeybees' existence and how the honeybees are giving a wonderful future to the humankind, to the world. Like that, we should understand the importance of it, and we should practice not only these seminars, but also we go to the schools and make such a set of programs so that the school students and the teachers should be explained the importance, and they should practice and they should do the plantation, everything like that. Still, I remember when I was the secretary of the Anajam Science Park Matriculation School, a part of Anna University, I developed a herbal garden. And also, I developed with the support of the principal and other people this for the 27 stars. That means, as per the Hindu horoscope or mythology, there are 27 nakshatra or stars, death star. Each one of us will be born in one of the stars only, according to the planet position, especially the position of the moon at the time of the birth. And according to that star, there are plants described in our Vedic culture, and we planted that also. Like that, our ancestors have given more value to the nature. That's why they lived happily and healthy life. But in today's industrialization has made a total change. Sometimes one way we do produce number of products made of polyester and other type of materials like this, cement and so many things, which is very essential for our life. But the output or the wastage of those products or these industries really cause a huge damage to the society. So what we feel, or as an engineer, we used to think that the production should be there. Without production of those commodities, the life cannot be there. We cannot go back to the old Stone Age or New Stone Age to live without those things. But those wastages to be recycled and renewed, and how that should not be mixed with the living conditions of our human beings. This is even today, I saw in newspaper that the High Court has directed the district collectors and other people that sewage water should not mix with drinking water. In many places it happens in this way. So in this way, It is the responsibility of everyone to protect the nature and grow the plants and preserve the plants. And in addition, what are the required things for the plants? Make the good water. And in our houses, the sewage water goes, how we can reuse it and how we can I say discard it, something like that. So without causing damage to the environment. So the environment protection is very essential. When I say this environment protection, I remember when I was the director of AMMRC Educational Media Research Center, I produced a video documentary, Mother We Say. Still it is there, I can give the DVDs because all those things are in my chamber in Anna University. I will take everything. The video document is on Mother We Say. We started from the garbage, a boy picking up the garbage from the huge mountain of garbage. From that, he starts his life. One may we give the life to the boy or the family, but a better life can be given. We engineers, or we academicians, or we scientists, or we learned people think of it, how a future can be designed and developed. And in that video documentary, even this industrial wastages and the exhaust gases, the smokes from automobiles, from the industries, how it affects the nitrogen content in the environment, and how it makes the holes in this highest atmospheric level, and these gases like methane, ethane, how it mixes in the atmosphere and causes a number of health problems or health hazards like this. So for everything, there should be a remedy. A simple remedy is, for example, you find that an exhaust gas from a two-wheeler. When you start a bike, once a bike starts with a sound, then immediately you find there's a smoke from the exhaust pipeline. Same from a four-wheeler. And how we cannot stop the passage of the exhaust gas out of the engine or the body of the vehicle. But the exhaust gas should be treated well so that the bad elements in the exhaust gas like carbon monoxide like that should be chemically treated in the exhaust pipe itself. That was a project what we did long back, about more than 20 years ago. That is, we put some reactors along with that catalyst made of aluminum oxide so that that can be controlled. So in this way, the engineers and scientists should work towards, along with the interested people, samuha arvalargal, like that, those who want to reform the society by the interest. And that is our responsibility. The honest is honest. So on this special day, I wholly congratulate the organizer, especially Principal Mary Angeline, because she's not only the principal. I have found out that she has a great passion towards this nature and this plantation like that. And the way she talks, when she sees a plant, I think she talks with the plant or the plant talks with her. And immediate some solution or something, some idea will come to her mind. This is a blessing. But in Hinduism, we say which star, which like that. But this is a great blessing for her. And I have found very rarely such people, academicians, shows interest towards nature. And I request our principal, Angeline, to come to the university. And we have a lot of plants, everything in front of the main building. There is a very good landscape, and still we do watering, we make it greenery. And
Yes,
there are
sir.
many campuses, and these campuses will be should be made as a greenery and flora and fauna. And whatever this budget we require, we'll provide it. And not only Professor Angeline, you should take some students, research scholars,
Yes,
just
sir.
like a guru is taking a shishya, like that, you should take some shishya with you. And there are our NSS team, our Madam Vinith Agarwal. She has a very good team of interested people, dedicated people. And even she has, after she took up the coordinatorship for the NSS, she has done a lot of social service to the colleges as well as to the state as well as to the city, from making some campaign on traffic rules and campaign for this what is this COVID pandemic, how to overcome, how to use it like this. Yesterday I was there was a webinar with the Honorable His Excellency Chancellor conducted with the Vice Chancellors. At that time I pointed out this. Our NSS, even though we don't have NCC, our NSS of the university and the university colleges are doing tremendous work for this people of the concerned cities or this our zone, our territory. So in this way, we have a very good team, and I'm very much interested to keep this in mind. and we should support, and we should do more and more such work, so that this will be like the University of Madras and other campuses should be just like a Brindavan, like that only people should come visit, and we should invite the school children to come to see our gardens and everything, butterfly garden or honeybee garden, and they should learn something from us, not only our own students, because my former colleague, Dr. Abdul Kalam, APJ Abdul Kalam, because before he became the President of India, he was working in Anna University, and his office, the RCC, Ramanujam Computer Center, was just next to my building where I was a director, AUFRG Institute for CAD-CAM, Computer Design and Manufacture. Sometimes he used to come to our chamber, or we used to go for walk together in the canteen. So at that time, he used to tell us that we focus on college students and college teachers, but our responsibility is to inculcate the culture from the school students and the school teachers. Once a good thing starts from the school, then the country will prosper, because that is the age where the kids will learn a lot. So we should teach them the principles and philosophy, and more than how we can protect the society and the environment. So I'm wholeheartedly thankful to every one of you. So we should keep in mind that this day should be every day. Every day we should have this in mind, and we should celebrate. Hope the same day maybe we will be organizing the next year. By that time, we'll make. By that time, we can say that we have contributed so many things, and the city has become green by this team. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for joining us. Thank you very much for your thought-provoking and valuable insights on protecting our environment. Thank you so much, sir. Now I request our secretary, sir, Mr. A.N. Henry Morris, to do the felicitation.
Thank you so much, Princey. Let me also just start, if I am able, if you people can see me, and also if we can also hear me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Good morning to one and all here, respected respected people on the webinar. It is my pleasure and joy to join on this inauguration of this event, to restore the earth to the normalcy. I actually believe this is the need of the hour. COVID 2019, the pandemic, virus has taken away the year 2020 from the calendar. This has thrown a lot of challenges to us. However, this has also brought all of us into a realization to be really mindful of our fellow humans. Similarly, similar to the COVID, this Mother Earth has been seeing human as the pandemic, virus for the last so many decades, mutated every day into new form, have been destroying the earth in our own way. Thanks to the Earth Day, often celebrated to become mindful of the environment that we live in. The Earth Day theme for 2021 is to restore the earth. Topic is also to restore to the normalcy. In order to understand the restoration to the normalcy, I think we need to answer few WH question. What is normalcy of the earth? When did we lose the normalcy? How can we restore it? I'm sure at the end of this 3-day conference, we'll be able to identify the answer to these questions and draw a course of action to find a way to restore Earth. The Sustainable Development Goal 15 provides some detailed facts and numbers. It also provides certain targets that we should also be achieved in the next 10 years. I believe this conference will provide a roadmap to achieve these targets. My thought is this restoration of the earth should not end as just as a topic in the conference, but become a movement. I believe only then we will achieve what is really needed. I would like to start requesting for a pledge to all our fellow beings, not to be a pandemic virus to the earth, but to break the chain of destruction and start to restore what is lost. With these few words, I wish all the best. Let us join hands to create a movement to restore our Mother Earth. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Secretary Sir. That was awesome. We are moving on to session one, and I'm profusely enjoyed to take the opportunity to introduce the special speaker of session one. He is none other than Dr. Christopher. He is a scientist and research coordinator from the Advanced Center of Environmental Studies, Mahatma Gandhi University, Kerala. He has completed his MSW in Bishop Heber College, Tiruchirappalli. He is a university first rank holder. He's a gold medalist, right? He has completed his MPhil in Bharatidasan University, Tiruchirappalli. He has completed his doctorate in forestry from Forest Research Institute, Dehradun. Urban and rural community development and human-wildlife interactions are his specialization. He's been a manager in Foundation for Ecological Security, Anand, Gujarat. A program executive in International and India HIV/AIDS Alliance. He's been in Abbott Laboratories, community-based HIV/AIDS care and support program in Tamil Nadu. He's a research coordinator in Lala College, Thiruvananthapuram. He's been a program officer and research coordinator monitoring more than 200 multidisciplinary projects funded by Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Besides this, he has completed more than 20 research projects and guided many research scholars. His area of expertise cover a whole range of titles. I have a whole lot to say, but since we are running short of time, I stop with this. Sir, it's a great honor to have you here with us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Princey, and
Thank you, sir.
thank you for all the organizers, and I record my admiration to the dignitaries, the Vice Chancellor, Mr. Henry Morris, and the Principal, all those who had a wonderful introduction to this OPT seminar of this day. And I'll go straight to my topic, the first topic of the day. And just a minute. Can you please close your window? Can you hear?
Hello, Pandian? Yes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Dr. Christopher. The phone is engaged.
Can you see?
Yeah,
Can you see the things? Can you see the presentation? Hello?
No, sir. It's not listening.
I think still your screen is there. I am not able to share. Just check.
It's not visible, sir, still. Can you please stop sharing and then again, can you please share, sir?
Okay.
Christopher sir, do you need any help? Are you able to share?
Yeah. What happened actually?
Can you send it by mail? Can you send the slide by mail? I will share it from here.
See, in your thing, actually, your screen is coming, but my screen
You
is
need
not
to share it because you
able to share. I think it is still switched
given
on. You
the
have to
rights to hello, given the rights to share, ma.
Yeah. Is it
Can you please
it's
send
allowed
it
now?
from?
Is
Yeah,
it
it
allowed
is
now?
allowed. It is allowed. You can also send the copy to my mail immediately. We will do the needful.
Okay.
Dr. Christopher, I think you can share. You have to do the sharing. It is you have been given the rights to do it.
Okay.
You need to share it. Yes.
Okay. I'll check again. But what happened actually in the share your entire screen comes actually there used to be that share is not getting on still.
Sir, after doing that share your entire screen, please press that screen and then share. Go to the presentation, sir.
See,
After clicking the entire screen, click on that window and then move on to the presentation.
yeah, I'm clicking on present now. Right.
And there will be a
See, I'm just doing present now.
yeah, then it will show a tab called present your entire screen. Please can you click on that?
Yeah.
And then move on to your presentation. You should now go to your PPT.
Yeah, I just open my presentation. You're getting it?
No, sir, not it, sir.
Dr. Christopher, can you share the slide with us by mail? We will do it from here.
Yeah, I think actually I will mail it because actually the share is not coming.
Okay, no problem. You have mailed it to which mail ID, sir?
Yeah, I'll mail it immediately.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we welcome.
Yeah.
You can just get the technical details done.
We have Dr. Nagarajan Ramaswamy. Welcome, sir. மெயில் நீங்க கிறிஸ்டோபர் சார் நீங்க மெயில் அனுப்புங்க. சும்மா நாங்க இவரு சார் இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் பண்ணிடுறோம். அது வரைக்கும் நீங்க ரெடி பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கலாம்.
ஓகே.
Dr. Ramaswamy sir, is he here?
Yes, he already checked me.
Yes, sir. Hello. Good morning, sir. How are you? So we can't hear you, sir.
Unmute, please unmute. Some problem with your audio, I think.
Ramaswamy sir is there. I think Nagarajan sir, he needs to unmute himself. We are not able to hear him. Christopher sir, have you sent a mail?
Wait.
Okay. கிருஷ்ணமூர்த்தி சார் நீங்க அவருக்கு ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுங்க அவரு நாகராஜன் சாருக்கு.
I think he already checked it, but some problem with his audio. I think
audio, yeah, I know. We are having this technical problem. Although virtual is very easy, but still the technical issues are really very bad, sir.
Yeah. My presentation is getting uploaded.
Okay. We'll wait.
Yeah.
Sir, you're sending it to principal at NCAS? Which mail ID?
I am, principal.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, it is sent.
Yes, okay.
And Dr. Nagarajan, still your audio is not correct, I think. Video is perfect, but only problem with the audio.
Can you hear me, sir, now?
Yes, perfect. Yes,
oh, okay. So I removed the microphone, actually.
Okay. All right.
Now is very perfectly correct.
Now?
Yeah.
Now is very perfectly correct.
Our
We can hear you loud and clear.
From Satyabama University is telling us.
Okay, I'm just downloading your PowerPoint, sir, and I will share. Dr. Christopher, I will share your PowerPoint here. It's just a few minutes.
Good morning, Professor Nagarajan. How are you? Yeah. Your audio is again giving a problem.
Now, sir?
Yeah. Now it's fine.
Yeah, now that is clear.
Yeah.
Okay, I removed my headphones, sir.
You are technically also sound, research also sound. So
no, sir. No.
Yeah, nice seeing you, Dr. Nagarajan.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure.
Yes, sir, it's ready. I'm sharing it now.
And Dr. Mary Angeline, Madam, shall Dr. Nagarajin start with this presentation?
Yeah, he can. He's no, it started. I'm just sharing.
Yeah.
Is the PowerPoint visible?
Screen is coming.
Only screen is
Yes.
coming. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Great.
Screen, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you can start, sir.
Yeah. So, good morning, all of you. Again, I am really sorry for the technical issue, which altered some time. We'll go straight to the next slide, please. Yeah. Yeah. I start with actually today is the Earth Day. This all the seminar, this international conferences organized in the context of the World Earth Day, which has a special theme with the climate change issues. And I wish to actually focus is something actually I know that there are many students and participants who are non-science background. Even then, actually, everybody knows about the Earth. I would like to start with a little bit introduction. Fortunately or unfortunately, we are forgetting about what is Earth. As we know that of all the planets in the solar system, we studied that actually Earth is one of the largest planet in the solar system, and which is Earth is made up of, in Tamil we used to tell that Panchabhutams, and that is including land, air, water, life, the main components. The land includes the mountains, plains, and what happened? Yeah. And air component includes actually, you know, that different gases, including our life supporting oxygen, and the water bodies includes lakes, rivers, streams, rain, snow, ice, everything together. All makes together the water component of the earth. And the most important aspect of the earth is this is the only planet in our solar system that harbors life. And the life forms, when we talk about, there are various kinds. There are invisible, there are below ground life, above ground life, and these lives include people, animals, plants, microbes, and their habitats or the ecosystems together.
So we cannot.
Next slide, please. Hello. Can you hear?
Yes, sir, we are able to hear you, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Next slide. Yeah. So when we talk about the earth, I was telling that actually there are land, air, water, and life. The life is the biodiversity we are talking about. And the important things, how the earth functions is actually, it has a wonderful, beautiful connection. We still are not able to, I think Muthukumar is speaking. Muthukumar, can you please? Yeah. So it interacts with the other part of the earth. Hello, one Mr. Muthukumar is speaking along with me. Yeah. Anyway, these interactions, along with these interactions, Earth has a capacity to resilience, that is actually recovering some of the damages or changing modification according to the to balance itself. These changes are sometimes actually caused by the members itself, living members or non-living aspects, or sometimes actually it is largely nowadays influenced by the human species. And the conservation of biodiversity or protecting the earth for our own sustainability requires a lot of this understanding. And when coming to actually the life, that is the biodiversity, it includes, as I told earlier, plants, animals, and microbes, and their living habitats. It is not only the wild biodiversity, it includes a lot of domestic biodiversity, what we domesticated the animals and birds for our purpose, and the domesticated plants from wild, the diversity of all those things. Every day when we hybrid and when we use technology, we are actually adding into the domestic diversity. And parallelly, there are actually the the earth caters actually a new change of diversity. This is the broad picture of the thing. Actually, it includes everything: insects, birds, butterflies, plants. Our Vice Chancellor was telling about all those things. Next slide, please. And some of the wild biodiversity, we know that, unfortunately, when we talk about biodiversity, everybody talks about only wild biodiversity. Nowadays, actually, we forgot about the domestic diversity, microbial diversity, below ground diversity, and above ground diversity. That is why actually even today Mr. Morris was telling about the virus. We gave actually we know very little about the microbial diversity around us. Millions of actually microbes working invisibly for good as well as for bad, and majority for good. Of fermenting our food and actually decomposing our things, synthesizing our waste, so many things going on around the microbial world. And the visible, our limited knowledge, actually mostly we focus into the visible and beautiful and economic oriented biodiversity we are concentrating more. And wild biodiversity also nowadays actually we are losing knowledge and particularly the understanding about the wild biodiversity and the other sector of biodiversity. Next slide, please. Next, yeah. Below ground soil engineers. Actually, I was telling that biodiversity, the life is above in the earth as well as below. There are visible as well as invisible. The below ground biodiversity, one important thing is the earthworms. It is known as actually the friends of farmers, and we didn't know that actually how they work a lot. They process the earth, they aerate the earth. Earthworms, actually we have a big laboratory in our university, and we are studying about the diversity and its patterns, and we are trying to fix how actually the earthworms indicate the health of the earth. And we are getting a very interesting information and results, because the earthworms actually, I don't know how many of you know that the earthworms live up to 10 meters below the earth. Some groups are called the epigenic. Actually, they live in the surface up to few centimeters of the surface Earth. There are some mesogenic. Actually, they are living actually the middle layer up to 1 meter depth. Some are going actually even up to 10 meters below the Earth. You can't believe that. Actually, they work. They indicate the health of the Earth, and they work. They aerate, and nowadays, as I was telling that 85, we have more than 380 species. Many exotics are increasing. Actually, with our ignorance, we don't know about our native earthworms. Actually, we introduce many for easy propagation and easy multiplication and distribution. We introduced so many exotic species. They are now distributed across our landscapes and natural systems and replacing our native earthworms, and by that actually the quality of the earth and its process are getting altered. And coming to the condition of the earth, and do we know that actually earth is getting disturbed? And that is the question. Because we know that is why we are talking about pollution, that is why we talk about the conservation, that is why we are talking about the restoration. And what are the actual disturbances? I'm not talking about actually there is a slide coming. What are the type of typical disturbances we are creating as human? And the broad understanding about the disturbances we are creating to our home, or somebody mentioned Mother Earth, and we are disturbing its system. We are disturbing its processor. Why we are doing it? Because of our ignorance. Because we study in universities, we study in technological institutions, we study botany, zoology, environmental science, everything. But unfortunately, the ways somewhere we lose the connectivity. Those who study animal sciences, they know only animals. Those who study about plant sciences, they know only plants. Those who study technology, they know only that. And we lose the connectivity between that. That is the biggest disaster we are facing. That is why actually we are not able to actually, when we understand, when we perceive, we are not able to perceive the interconnectedness in the universe or in the earth. And because of that, actually we specialized in subjects, specialized in our own knowledge, and we cater that knowledge into human greed. And to achieve that greed, we alter the natural process at any cost, like mining, I'm talking about, and all sort of actually alterations we are doing. And these are some of the actually how we specifically the human influence affect the biodiversity and the earth's stability. And the primary thing is actually everybody knows that we are reproducing in a rate exceeding all the natural process, and the consumption pattern, actually that is one of the big population. I would say that actually the pattern of consumption, we buy things, we dispose waste, and we make money, we use resources for making actually our goods and consumptions. All these things actually we cannot create anything, even a single pin we cannot create. We have to take the resources from the earth and other resources that we are actually ruthlessly extracting. These are the three major influence which drives many drivers, which affects the biodiversity on earth. Habitat loss, we are introducing a lot of invasive species, we are exploiting the resources, mining, and so many things, pollutant. And when we use the resources without any proper knowledge, we are polluting the earth like anything. And further, the pollution creates, actually stimulate the climate change, and it totally affects, imbalance the earth's system. And it is one of the reasons that actually it alters the biodiversity and subsequently the balance of the earth. Next slide, please. Yeah. And this is one of the things actually when I was telling earlier some of the major hazards we are human species is doing on the earth. One is actually less known. It is now the scientific, the biochemists and the environmental scientists we are talking about is the microplastics. Microplastics are the plastics. So far we are thinking that actually the plastic carry bags are the nuisance, but we forgot about actually we are using almost 90% of the household articles and our transport system and our office. Everything actually involves our utensils. Everything involves plastics. We think that it is eternal. Not. They shed actually microparticles out of it every now and then. It is the particles which are below 0.5 milligram. Particles are called microparticles, and there are nanoparticles of plastics also. These are actually, it is spreading like everywhere, and it is spreading in the soil, it is spreading in the ocean, and it enters into the entire system, not only human system, also the other animals. And the other major problem is the invasive and alien species which we introduce, which are some animals and species naturally evolved into some tropical region or in temperate zones. And the temperate zone, I think because of the human mobility became easier, we introduce many species which colonizes into the new zone, and it destabilizes the native species, and it disrupts actually the Earth's the natural succession process. And we don't know why actually new diseases coming, why our agriculture is not producing, because actually we are introducing a lot of invasive species, particularly human being introduces this. And so what we have to do is we should have an understanding. We should not actually introduce too many non-native species. We should always go for the traditional indigenous food and agriculture things. Next. And other contaminants, actually, this is another very threatening aspect, how actually in our technological advancement or scientific advancements impact the earth. And we know actually we are polluting the earth. We talk about the air pollution, water pollution, and this and that. Actually for the past 10-15 years, the trend of pollution is changing like anything. We are not in a macro level. The per capita household medicine consumption, drug consumption is increased like anything. We can't say that actually there is a house without medicine nowadays. We are all made, the international pharmaceutical lobby made us become drug dependent, and every person, or at least actually 50% of the above 50 years people are under drug use. Some sort of tablets and medicines, their chronic drug dependency is there. And actually we are unknowingly we are disposing it in the ecosystem, and it is spread in our water and our soil. Everywhere actually the pharmaceutical pollutants are there, and it creates antibiotic resistance in our not only in human beings, in other animals also. That is why you can see in fishes, in other animals, your domestic animals, there are new diseases are actually emerging. And next. And actually nowadays that this diabetes, cancer, and uterus fibroids, so many this became very common in everywhere. It is so common. The women cannot actually bear the child. It is a natural process. Every living beings produce it. But nowadays, cesarean became common. Why it is actually, the medical field is not revealing most of the things. And our system is full of these chemicals, these drugs, heavy metals, these pharmaceutical pollutants, nanoparticles, synthetic nanoparticles, and many of this technology created this synthetic and chemical particles enter into our system, human system as well as animal system, and affects our endocrine, that is the central, our hormonal system affects, hack it like a computer virus, and it creates developmental malformations, and you interfere with our reproduction systems. That is why actually we are reproduction system of not only human, animals. It is there is a huge change nowadays, and risk in cancer and our immune and nervous systems are disturbed. These are, I'm not going deep into that actually. These are disturbing facts. Everybody should know how, when we use our technology and our modern amenities. And this is a typical model. I'm not going deep into that. How actually when we are not concerned about our consumption and our pollution, how it actually creates a poor ecosystem. And when the solution is we have to be conscious so that our consumption will reduce the burden of the earth, and ecosystem will restore, as well as actually we will give time to the earth and its system to recover. That is we call it the resilience. And so that the other components, the non-human components, will work for the betterments of at least the earth, so that the human being also survive in the planet. Next, please. The question is, are we in the right track? Actually, even after all these pandemics and our disturbances, our pollution, we don't have pure air, we don't have pure water everywhere. We are buying oxygen, we are buying water, clean drinking water, everything. Even now, how is our policies? We should think of it. I'm a bit critical about it. Actually, this is 2 days before, in Down to Earth, actually, this article came. Ministry of Environmental, Forest and Climate Change chooses mineral over biodiversity. Clear rail track in Western Ghats despite red flags from the conservationists and those who know, those who are worrying about the biodiversity and the earth. What to do actually? Who to tie the bell? And this is what we want actually, the transport system. We want actually consumption. So we need a transport systems much better than this biodiversity and the earth. What for? This is the thought I am asking actually. I am putting this question to all the audience. Next. Next, please. Hello. Next slide, please. Hello. Can you hear? Hello. Can you hear the slide operator? Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? I think everybody has gone. Hello. What happened? Presentation has gone. Yeah, I will wait till they restore the thing.
I think there may be some power failure.
Okay. Anyway, I will continue without the slides.
Yes.
See, I was talking about actually how this microplastics and other things are disturbing our thing, and how our government policies actually view this still. Our question is actually whether to the environment or development. And nowadays, actually, I'm openly telling that the development we are giving priorities without understanding that this development will lead to disasters like the today's pandemic. We put our trust more on our science and technology and ignoring our basic link with nature and our earth system. That is a disaster we are facing today. We have developed everything actually about our technology and everything, but unfortunately we are not able to use it because we are going to face a shutdown. Coming back to the thing, this is the connectivity of this slide is the connectivity of the thing as I'm talking about this. Everybody should read this book, Monocultures of the Mind by Vandana Shiva, one of the finest environmentalists of our age. And this is a beautiful concept. In nature, you see everywhere diversity. That is why we are talking about biodiversity. That is the fundamental of sustaining the earth and its stability. When it became uniform, the managers or the people who rule, for them actually they need some uniformity and monanimity in the surroundings. So they promote monocultures. Monocultures, when we in the early days we used to call it actually forestry operations, agriculture are called monocultures, because when we wanted to produce food grains and timber, we used to produce a similar whichever is useful for us, we plant that, clearing the diversity, and we plant that and we promote that. That is called monoculture. There is no diversity like our plantations, our paddy fields. These all examples of monocultures. There is only one plant, one age, and one variety cultivated across acres of lands. Whereas if you see in a backyard of your land, which is left uncultivated, we call it as a wasteland. There, if you see that, there is diversity. There is a herb, shrub, tree, creepers, insects, butterflies, snakes, microbes. Everything is there. But we don't want that because you cannot sell those things. This is the monoculture of the mind. And there, because of actually what we call the wasteland, that is the wasteland which protects our entire regular systems that we lost in our education and other things. That is a thing. Coming to our education system, this slide I often actually use in all my presentations and classes. Lost child in the woods. I will accuse our education system. This is the fundamental problem where we lose our concern with nature or earth or everything. Whatever higher education or higher understanding we have, if we lose the link at the young stage, our school education, we are now keeping our children protecting within the room. We are giving for mobile phones and virtual learning and everything. And we teach, actually the children are averse with every natural component. With every bug, every plant or animal, everything we see, waste, we wanted to clear. We want to actually clear the natural system, and we put gardens, indoor plants and indoor, we see nature from channels, National Geographic and Discovery Channel. We don't recognize, actually we are afraid of nature. We are afraid of, that is called the nature deficiency syndrome or disorder. That grows up along with our other education system, our understanding contributes actually totally, it cuts off from our natural world. Next, please. An alteration, there is in ecology, there is a school called actually deep ecology. It is the philosophy of ecological harmony and equilibrium. We should understand actually what our position in the earth. And the eco-philosophy tells that the earth is a sanctuary. It is a home, not our constructed home or not our constructed institutions. The entire world, the natural world is our real home. And we should realize that, and we refer there, it is not only human, it is the entire world, we are talking about the earth. We are talking, that is why I mentioned the components of earth. It is not only the human lives here. There are other microbes and macro lives and visible and invisible lives. Everything is there. We must respect everything. Everybody has a right. That is why the microbes are taking dominance of, they are threatening us. We are powerful than your technology. That is the message we are getting today. And this eco-philosophy tells that you love life, you respect every living beings in the world. God provided all the plants and animals, everything. That is why in every religion we have this. The Hinduism, Christianity, the Noah's Ark, and God created everything. Animals, without animals and other beings, there is nothing, no religion there. We must understand this. That is why the ecological spirituality talks that all religion and everything talks about the interconnectedness, but we forgot about it. Next, please. And actually we often underestimate our traditional knowledge, our traditional systems. We call them as primitive. We respect the technology by our education system. We respect our technology as higher than our traditional knowledge. Our mothers, we are supplementing with all nutrients nowadays, and it is making a lot of side effects in our body, and it makes not humans as humans nowadays. But the traditional people know how to harvest the use of natural elements, the medicines and everything. And that is a solution. We have to recognize that, and we have to appreciate that. We have to learn that, go back to our roots. Then we will respect our nutrition and our medicines and everything, our solutions. We will go back to our nature. That is the thing. Next. I'm coming to the closer of my presentation. This is the last overall message on this Earth Day. It is again told long back, actually 2 decades back, in Seattle, when the American chief wanted to buy his area to annex with the United States. The chief replied a long letter, and one is that this is opt for this Earth Day message. What I was telling all this time, this summarizes: the earth does not belong to us alone, and we belong to the earth. We should actually realize this and go ahead with our new technology, our education, and our understanding and our policies. Then only we can survive this in the earth as a human species. Otherwise, the earth will survive and we will not be here. Next slide, please. Hello? I think I have done my presentation. Next slide, please. Thank you, all of you. If you have any questions or any suggestions, you can tell. I think, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the organizers. Thank you for the audience. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, Dr. Christopher. We'll have the question answer session after Dr. Nagaraj completes his presentation. Kindly be online, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Princy?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Sir, thank you so much for the immense knowledge you have shared on biodiversity and awareness on many other entities, and that was phenomenal. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
We now have a visual treat on the biodiversity of Nazareth institutions. May I request, no ma'am?
No, we have
Shall
already
we
done
skip it?
that, ma, so we will go with Dr. Nagaraj's presentation.
We are moving ahead to session 2. I now request Professor Pandian to introduce the second speaker of the day, Dr. Nagarajan Ramaswamy.
Good morning, dignitaries. It takes immense pleasure to introduce our chief speaker, Dr. Nagarajan. Dr. Nagarajan joined Curtin University, Sarawak, Malaysia in the year 2008. He completed his PhD at Hana University in the year 2003 in India. Prior joining in Curtin University, he worked in India as a lecturer at Shastra University for 4 years. He has been involved in teaching, research, and student supervision at undergraduate and postgraduate level. A research area mainly focuses on sediment and environment geochemistry. Dr. R. Nagarajan is actively involved in sediment geology research. Currently, he is working on research on neogen sediment of Borneo through inferior provenances. He has gained 1 PhD and he is guiding 4 research scholars and 4 master degree students. He has received a Best Research Paper Award, CUT TCE International Conference in the year 2008 and 2011, Malaysia. And he has received Student Choice Award in the year 2009, Curtin University. He has published 13 papers and 4 ongoing projects. We are honored to have you, sir. Now I hand over to the session to Dr. Nagarajan, sir. Sir, please.
Dr. Nagarajan, you are again some problem with your audio.
So, sir,
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
sir?
Yes,
Okay.
now it is audible.
My slide, sir?
Yes. It is interrupting. Actually, it comes once and then after that it is completely gone.
This is Princy.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sir, your voice is not audible, sir. Kindly please unmute and then speak, sir.
Is that okay now?
Yes, it's clear, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Again it is gone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, better.
Sorry for the late and disturbances. Okay, thank you for the organizer and Prof. KK and ma'am for the inviting me to talk about Earth and Environment on auspicious day is called Earth Day. Okay, with the organizer's permission, let me just give an introduction about my university, 1 or 2 slides. So this is belongs to Curtin University, Australia. It's one of the biggest, largest international campus Curtin has globally. So it's located in eastern part of Malaysia and Borneo Island. So Curtin, Australia has 5 major campuses: Curtin Perth, Curtin Mauritius, Curtin Dubai, Curtin Singapore, and Curtin Malaysia. So Curtin Malaysia is one of the matured university. It's a 22nd year running in Malaysia. So with that background, let me give some background. What Dr. Christopher almost covered the basics as well as biodiversity, more biodiversity details in his presentation. So some of the reflections here may be unique and overlapping, but the perspective, what I'm going to talk is little bit different in terms of geologist as an environmental geologist. Okay, so let's have a discussion on the introduction about Earth and environment, mass extinctions, driving factors, human impacts, and what are the solutions and where we are. So in addition, I have included some case studies, some actions taken in Malaysian level, particularly where we are, particularly in the state of Sarawak, where my university is located. Okay, so you might be seeing this map. Of course, this is showing the land-use land cover map of the present modern Earth. So how the land mass is distributed. So how we are going to protect. So this land have experienced many changes over 4.5 billion years ago since its birth. You know how the Earth formed. Basically, Earth and Moon are believed to be formed same time, or sometimes scientists believe that Earth and Mars belongs to one unique planet, and then later it splitted. Okay, so that is a geological research going on, but based on the evidences what we have in the Earth land, particularly lithosphere, the age of the Earth is considered about 4.5 billion years ago. So the evidence comes from Australia. So India, we have the oldest evidence is about 4 million years. Okay, so as Dr. Christopher mentioned, Earth has a lot of unique characters, particularly this is the 5th largest planet, and this is the one of the planet. Actually, this is the only planet have the liquid water, but now we could say is one of the planet have the liquid water because more exploration going on other planets too. The thing is that Earth is an open system. That is an advantage as well as disadvantage. Earth is an open system. That means suspect to accept everything what we do in the Earth's surface. Basically, Earth has sustained 4.5 billion years by doing themselves. They know when to do the recycling processes, when to refresh. So automatically, naturally, it was refreshing. Basically, in average, about every 300 million years, there was a refreshment. So that's why in geology it's called input is equal to output in Earth. Whatever going in should come out. It's geologically it's called a tectonic theory or isotactic theory. But a very simple example, in order to say so Earth is open system. Even though Earth looks solid, the energy and matter can penetrate. That means, for example, you take a groundwater system. The leachates, whatever we are doing activity on the surface can reach the groundwater. Then the same groundwater we are extracting and drinking again. So that is a cycle. So our reflections on the Earth's surface is not unique or is not matching with the Earth's own lifestyle. So when there is a conflict, then the consent, the effect, consequences we have to face. For example, Earth, within the Earth, one part that is surroundings. It supports life, not only animal, not only plant, whatever may be, even microbes, human being, everyone is supported by Earth and environment together. So in order to state a healthy environment, is absolutely is a well-being of all organisms. It fulfilling all our needs, big and small, all met by the environment. But unfortunately, human either overused this healthy environment, so is reaching the pinnacle of the evolution, and unfortunately, this sophistication or convenience is coming to an end. That's why it's called convenience is temporary. So in the long run, man is losing out an healthful environment. So why it is, how it's happening, what it's happening. So in order to understand the recent past or the present scenario or what will happen in the future, first we have to know how Earth was surviving 4.5 billion years. So it's not new thing that what we are talking about global climate change or global problems in terms of rising CO2 or rising temperature. It's not first time. It happened 5 times in Earth history. These are the major mass extinctions. That means animals, plants, they all extinct. We have to understand one thing. This type of phenomenon, it's not a one-day phenomenon. It took about million years. The famous one to the common people is dinosaurs. So dinosaurs is not extinct within a day. It took about 30 to 120 million years. So that means the problem started one time and come to an end on another time. That means there is no one reason for that. So that means during that time, no human involvement. So Earth naturally controlled. So the reason, if you see, rising temperature is not only the issue faced by the Earth. For example, after forming of Earth, the whole world, the whole Earth was consisting of only magma, only lava, then only water. So during that time, the Earth was hotter than the present, like 3000 degrees Celsius and above. So the whole rock can melt at that situation, Archean. But now the maximum temperature under the Earth is like 1200, 1300, that's all. So over the period, the 5 major extinctions have led to extinct of major plants as well as animals in both continent as well as the ocean. If you look at the reason for it, majority of the loss is due to either earth cooling or earth heat. So how it is earth is cooling or heating? It is the effect of some processes. For example, most of the processes are related to volcanic activity on the earth. So whenever there is a volcanic activity, more release of gases, the variety of gases which are greenhouse gases. So that leads to more heat in the atmosphere, then melting of glaciers, sea level rise, then ocean acidity. So once it's ocean acidity, then absolutely oxygen removed and subsequently affect the marine habitats. Similarly on the land completely degraded, the ecosystem completely collapsed. So even though it is refreshed again and again and face the 5 major mass extinctions. But what is happening now? This is the 6th mass extinction. Is called Holocene extinction. So previously, during the 5 mass extinction, so only animals and plants were involved, but this mass extinction currently ongoing in which human is involving. So why this one is considered so dangerous than other 5? Because the current mass extinction going on 1,000 times aggressive way than what Earth has faced so far in 4.5 billion years. We know that when the human started his life in the Earth's surface, but now it's almost coming to an end. So where we are on the edge of the another mass extinction. So what we are going to do in order to protect or extend our life in the Earth. So according to the recent Global Biodiversity Assessment report, which suggests that out of 8 million species, like estimated species, 1 million plant and animal species are currently threatened with extinction. You might be heard some of the animals in your local context, either in India or our surrounding countries. So some of the animals is already endangered or extinct, like rhino. So what are the driving factors? So last 4.5 billion years, the geological processes were naturally controlling the Earth. In addition, meteoritic impact also controlled the Earth's life. But now the anthropogenic, particularly the exponential population growth on the Earth, then industrial evolution. So technically this may be sound because it's everything related to economy, GDP, you're getting job, technology development. But everything, if you are adapted in a sustainable way, then no problem. When there is no equilibrium, so the word equilibrium is important in Earth. Even naturally, when Earth formed, whenever there is an inequilibrium, automatically they turn towards equilibrium and they form. So that is why you could see a variety of rocks, variety of soil in the Earth. That means whenever there was an equilibrium, it was changing to equilibrium. So any process started from equilibrium naturally, but currently the inequilibrium process going on. That is why the lot of inequilibrium processes, particularly Anthropocene activities. That means the human involvement is this era is called Anthropocene. So all anthropogenic activities which have exaggerated the present scenario, which leads to global warming or climate change, whatever we want. So in technically, most of the physical hazards can be seen visually. So that can be proved. For example, landslide can be proved, tsunami can be proved, but climate change we cannot prove. We have to experience it. So those who are experiencing can clearly explain what is climate change or what is global warming. But this type of phenomenon happening slowly, but already we could see. So if you are belongs to 19th century, you born in 19th century, now currently in 20th century to 21st century. So you could see the changes over last 3 to 4 decades in terms of groundwater, in terms of agricultural land, in terms of resources, forest resources surrounding you. We could see a lot of changes. This all the changes due to human interruptions. So major point are already Dr. Christopher covered this one: environmental degradation, habitat fragmentation, biodiversity collapse, invasive species, impact on water resources, climate change. Here, for example, invasive species and all introduced by human being to the natural earth. So when invasive species being supportive, then no problem. But most of the time, the invasive species react negatively. So due to that, we are facing a lot of problems. Particularly one of the famous known water hyacinth, which is common in tropical climates, even though it was initially introduced to USA from South America. It's a native of South America. So, but what's happening in the water resources now? Most of the water resources is covered with the water hyacinth. So even though it's one side is benefit, most of the time it affecting the aquatic organisms negatively or significantly. Another one point I want to emphasize here. Okay.
I think there is some background noise.
Other than the speaker, rest of the people can switch off their audio.
Yeah.
A lot of disturbances.
I think that Mary Angeline, please mute your mic.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay. So another point to consider here is a disturbance of peatland. So I will talk about peatland with the Malaysian case study and also cover international. So the peatland is one of the important land resources, so which naturally help to sequester the carbon dioxide. So which is about 25% of carbon dioxide already sequestered naturally and is stored in the peatland of the world. So this also very important. So the environmental degradation, human activities, if they disturb this type of natural protective ecosystem, automatically it is much greater effect than what global change is happening or climate change is happening now. So whatever may be, these imbalanced situations all create an extreme events. All will impact our human life. That's why I said already we are in the pinnacle of the comfortability. So we are losing our comfortability from the earth. So the earth cannot sustain, or earth cannot support us anymore. In that scenario we are. Okay, so here are the major points. So what's happening due to climate change? So some of the items we know. So we can say flood is common, drought is common every time. In the earth previously also we have seen, but it cannot be taken in that aspects. You have to see flood previously when it happened, or how frequent it happened, now how frequent it happened. So the frequency is increasing. For example, the monsoon. If you take monsoon, most of the countries, most of the continental part is not receiving the monsoon as expected. All the monsoons are delayed about 2 months or 1 to 2 months. So whenever we have monsoon, this either goes with less deficient of rainfall or excess of rainfall. So these are the changes are related to climate change. It's not raining is common, drought is common, but how frequently we are facing this problem, that is the effect of climate change. So that is our as summarized here. So another warning is given, our ocean is warming as well as acidifying. So the acidification of ocean leads to global mean sea level bit higher, then coastal erosion will be common. So we cannot understand that effects. So those who are living in the coastal belt, then you can realize how severe that is. Okay. Particularly tropical region, including India, southern part of India, here Malaysia, these regions are facing tropical and subtropical climate condition. So where we have more cyclone, hurricane, and leaded floods. These are going to be common and also more frequent in the near future. So these are just expected and predicted based on many researches. These are just warnings only as per the report published in 2019 December. So why do you need to worry about it? So are we affected? Because our country is here, is safer from earthquake, safer from tsunami, like that. But in reality, every human being are affected. If you look at the history, most of the extreme climate conditions, extreme weather events have led to displacement of people. So in the world, currently already 40 to 50% are affected directly due to these extreme events, and also up to 66% they are under threat of environmental risk. How? Because they are exposed to many natural calamities, earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, floods, tropical cyclones, sea level rise. It's all disturbing. So none of the country or none of the place in the world can escape from this one. So what's happening? So peoples are displacing. Previously, animal used to displace from one part to another part within the forest, but now human beings are displacing from one place to other place due to this one. In addition to that, the associated problems, we can say either survival, that is, we can say geopolitical. It's not geological or geomorphological, it's a geopolitical pressure in addition to climate change that is also more aggressive in many parts of the world. So in 2015, 19.2 million people were displaced related to this climate change related hazards. So it's going to be doubled or tripled within this century because of this all the climatic change effect. So this is not a simple statement. It is derived based on the current database and have been modeled. It's all estimated only, but based on the model. So weather-related hazards have triggered about 14.7 million displacement. So the important point is that it's mostly happening in South and East Asia, even though it is common throughout the world. So human beings are directly related. And another one point, if you see, as Dr. Christopher mentioned, so many of the health diseases are related. So one common study claimed that the health risk, particularly higher temperature, is a favorable situation for mosquitoes. So high humidity, high temperature, that is a good survival environment for the mosquitoes. So the disease related to mosquitoes going to be more in the near future. Globally, about 76% are dependent on plants to receive their protein. So if this climate change is continuing, what will happen? The productivity from the agricultural land is keep on reducing. So people may face protein deficiency or may lead to malnutrition. So what some continents in the African continent is facing. So it's going to be a global phenomenon if this continuing in this level. For example, most of the developing countries already facing malnutrition, particularly for the kids. But based on the prediction, the current scenario of climate change event, it's going to be more. It's about by 2050, 25 million children will go under malnutrition. For example, in the present scenario, for anything, a good food, healthy food is required in order to fight or to improve the immune system. So I'm not a doctor to prove this, but basically healthy body can sustain against any type of disease rather than fatality or mortality. So another important things, residents of crowded cities. Of course, Chennai, some of the area you might be felt, you know, when we rent a room or house, so how crowded, like all look like Tinagar. If entire Chennai is look like Tinagar, how you feel? Our daily life, how is going to be, you know, peaceful? So that type of thing. So this is happening in the world. So one of the most crowded cities, neighbor country is Dhaka, Bangladesh. You can see the photo. So it's going to happen soon in many of the countries. So then the risk of extreme summer heat event. So what's happening now during summer, that itself we cannot tolerate. So it's going to be more exaggerated way in the near future if the same level continues in the near future. So for everything, even though we are technically telling many factors or many good words to describe the climate change, for me, is only one. It's everything about human behavior. The human behavior is perfect, so no more global warming, no more climate change. So whatever you take or what direction you are take, so it's related to human behavior. For example, 3 points which are very related. One is human population. Second one is food demand and supply or food insecurity. The third is climate change. It's all why it's happening, because the resource allocation is not in equity. Human demand is keep on increasing. Human demand is not common between the persons. So even though he doesn't need, he has more demand. So human needs is an exponential way of human needs and leads to over exploitation of resources in all aspects. Whether you take working environment or agriculture or mining or anything, is an over exploitation. Human ignorance. Ignorance means only the business activity or developmental activity. It's all related to economic development or GDP rather than the sustainability. So how important protocol we have for in order to maintain the sustainability of particular processes, we totally forgot it. For example, mining sector. So the license period might be expired a long time ago, but still they keep on continuing the mining activities, illegal minings. So fail to follow the protocols or guidelines, which is routine in many countries, so which leads to many problems. Then is a human greed. So human greed always directly related to destruction of habitat. You know, current situation you can see in the agricultural sector. So who is providing the seeds? None of the agriculture persons storing the seeds. That itself, you can say that is a human greed. So one is human ignorance, because the farmers, they fail to store the seeds. Another side, companies, they come up with the seeds and selling for double or triple times higher than the natural cost. The productive land is suited for a particular crop, but the modern world emphasizes the farmers to go for particular crop. So that itself is a human greed example. So similarly, over exploitation of resources. Then human aggression. So previously there was a water dispute between the countries, between the states, which is not quite new. It's throughout the war, throughout the year, there's many occasions we have seen such disputes. But in the future, it's like what's going to happen? So the future war is the end, maybe. So conventional war versus nuclear war. So everybody is giving more importance for nuclear products, nuclear-based research. So in the future, going to be a nuclear-controlled one. So once we start to use during the war, that will be the end, maybe leading to the end towards the human arrogance. So arrogance is mostly exploitation. Very simply, we can say we have 8 hours working schedule. So labor should work in the environment, in the company, 8 hours. But is it happening in any company? They were asked to do 10 hours, 12 hours for the same cost, same salary. It's one example. Second example, you could say liquor and cigarette. It's giving health effect. But in the early stage, when they advertise this product, they never shared the healthful effects. For example, the first cigarette was made, a geological material is called asbestos. The butts was made up of asbestos. So who advertised that product, who died because of cancer? The product called as Kent cigarettes. So this type of thing is all human arrogance, which is continuing until today, which is related to geopolitical policies and associated procedures. You could see more on geopolitics. So overall, human behavior is a matter for everything. So in this worst scenario, throughout the world, we could see some of the activities. So these are the major actions already taken place in the world to fight against climate change. So some of the key points. So one is US Green New Deal. So this New Deal, even though it's just a policy, but it's already started to implement, particularly in the infrastructure and developmental industry. And also sustainability is proven. Sustainability is also implemented. So to make the atmosphere clean. So that is a good sign, because US is the first higher release of CO2. Next, China. You know. Then second, the recent announcements, recent Australian court, they rejected one appeal or one application to start open cast mining of coal. So what they have stated that, so if you want to extract coal, it should not emit greenhouse gases. So this is another good sign, because Australia is one of the major coal producer in the world. Then third, increase in sustainable goods. So this is one of the example, but many industries, many sectors already implemented the sustainability. For example, fashion industry. The fashion industry producing a lot of pollutant as well as contributing to global warming. So there were a protection in London in 2019. So it has the the fashion industry is shifting towards sustainable way of creation of goods. So, however, the change is ahead. It's not yet we've seen. It's going to be in the future. Then changing in the food industry. So, food industry, in addition to the food industry or manufacturer, even people are converting towards vegetarian, you could say. So, opting for a meat and dairy-free diet in order to reduce their environmental impact. So, and also most of the developed countries, they have a labeling system. We could see whether this product is involved, whether that manufacturing that food is affected environmental problems or not. So there is a code that can see how much environmental impact have been involved related to production of that food product. Then another good thing is war on plastic. So plastics is everywhere, as Dr. Christopher mentioned. So we don't know because it's most of the nanoparticles, even fish flesh has microplastics. So how it is transferred to flesh, we don't know. If it is in the digestive system, okay, directly linked. It's in the flesh, it's a nano particles. So some of the actions, particularly European Union, take an action. They have a strategy aimed to revolutionize the design, use of production, increase the recyclability and reuse of plastics in all sustainable way. Then UK government also recently proposed 4 initiatives for single-use plastics, particularly more tax, new tax on plastic packaging, whether it is manufactured within UK or imported from some other country. So they have to pay extra tax. So if the plastic product contains less than 30% of recycled content. A new deposit return scheme for drinks container. So if you return those plastics, you will get reward. Then a revamped packing producer responsibility system, as well as enhancing the recycling rule for consumers. So this is more on encouragement. So there's a change come from the consumers and common public rather than is a government or manufacturing sector alone they are fighting. So it is a responsibility of everything. So in this occasion, if we see, already United Nations have created some guidelines. It's called Sustainable Development Goals to fight climate change, which addresses poverty, inequity, climate environmental degradation, prosperity, peace, and justice. So is it applicable to us? Yes, it's applicable to everywhere, any sector, any state, any country, any institute, or any house, or any individual person. Each one of us, we can follow this SDG, Sustainability Development Goals. So it has aims. So that aim to address this climate change issues by 2030. So we have 1 decade, including this year. So what we can do for it? So as an individual person, we can be sustainable. So, and also the politicians can emphasize more on that. Educational institute can have some SDG development plan at the institute level, and all industry must have their SDGs. And if everyone follows, of course, we can create a sustainable world by 2030. That means we can fight against climate change. Okay, so since we are asked to include Borneo, just a few slides about Borneo and what's happening in Borneo. So Borneo is the 3rd largest island in the world. So it's one of the largest. This is the largest island in Asia. It has a lot of unique features, like a mountain is off the height of Himalaya. It's a 4,118 meter high. Then orangutan, hornbill, rafflesia, and honey bear. So these are some of the examples of unique features of Borneo. And at the same time, all the features are associated with the primary forest. But recently, what's happening in Borneo? For example, this is a study published in 2014. So this the prediction says by 2030, half of the forest resources all consumed is converted into desertified land. So this is the present scenario. This in terms of how much primary forest going to be in the future. Okay, but if you take overall Borneo, there are 3 countries involved. One is Malaysian, part 2 states of Malaysia. One country is called Brunei, then another state is called Kalimantan, belongs to Indonesia. So which part is recently going more degraded way? You could see on the bottom part. So if you see the boundary, so here this line is the international boundary between Indonesia. This is Kalimantan, Indonesia. This is Sarawak, Malaysia. Here is Brunei. So if you look at this map, so where is the forest left? So mostly forest left in the Sarawak state of Borneo rather than Kalimantan part, because there are a lot of land use, land cover changes in Indonesia in order to boom the palm oil plantation. So major land use changes happening due to palm oil plantation. So this is the status of Sarawak. So how it's happening last decade. So one is timber consumption, second is deforestation for timber industry. So there is a significant effect, but still the primary forests are protected because most of the primary forest covered within the protected land is called national parks, biodiversity parks. It has about 17,000 species, world species, and most of the species still unidentified. So Borneo is world famous for biodiversity. So in order to preserve the biodiversity, the government has actions. So here a bit different. In addition to federal government, the state government taken some actions. For example, one is peatland management system, investment on renewable energy, particularly hydrogen energy, hydropower and solar system. Even though hydropower is some of the renewable, but still some protest going on against dam construction. So they invested more research on hydrogen energy. It is undergoing now, and they are implementing a big energy sector on hydrogen in the forthcoming years. So hydrogen and hydropower is the major energy supplier and going to reduce the gas as well as utilization of coal in the state. Then they already introduced the industrial forest plan. So the aim was 1 million hectare to be planted by 2020, but last November, the Chief Minister announced only 420,146 hectares have been achieved. So he invited private parties, particularly private industries, to contribute. So now private industries, academic institutions, all participated in the plan. It's an industrial forest plan 2025. So by 2025, we should achieve this 1 million hectare is reforested. Then restriction to use of plastics, which is quite common here. So all the shopping malls, they have to announce like plastic free days. If you don't bring your one packet, you have to carry all the materials in your hand, loose packets, Then investment on biodiversity research and biotechnology research. This is to convert the traditional knowledge to technological savvy. So whatever knowledge is available with the rural communities, now it is converted towards the product. The product is either biomedical product or pharmaceutical product, or it's anything have economic value now being converted. There is more fund is allocated by state as well as federal governments towards biodiversity protection as well as biodiversity developments. In addition, the adoption of UN SDGs takes place everywhere. The industries as well as even academic institution, our institution, we have adopted energy efficiency and net zero carbon research. So that is our SED plan for next 3 years. So when I mentioned peatland management, I have to talk because of my city, my state has one of the major peatland holder. So our land surface, our soil is mostly peatland, peat soil. So peat soil is organic matter accumulated like swampy conditions for many, many years. The thick peatland is naturally sequestrated about 25% of global soil carbon. Even though it has distributed compared to other soil type, it's only 3%, but it is holding or storing about 25% of global soil carbon. So one research going on in the deep abandoned well. After taking the oil, the deep abandoned well, we want to use the oil borehole to sequence the carbon, whatever produced from the industry. Another side, we are disturbing this type of peat soil. So when you disturb the peat soil, this will be more bad effect than any other things happening in the world in terms of global climate. So protecting peatland is one of the important things we have to consider. In addition to that, what are the actions taken against the climate change? So permafrost degradation, warming temperature, rising sea level, or drought. Once these peatlands are exposed, what will happen? The peat soil will go for oxidation processes. So then it releases the carbon back to the atmosphere. So that will create a huge impact on the global scale than any other deforested land or any other activities taken place by the human development. So to conclude, globally, we are still have a long way to go to achieve the Paris Agreement targets 2030. We have to reduce our temperature. So that another debate is going on. That is not a subject of matter now. Okay. So, however, there have been some positive developments in a global level in the legal space in the recent past. It should hopefully help to drive the meaningful change in the near future. So, our environment is a heritage and our legacy that we all have inherited. So, we must preserve it. So start is from us, from our desk first. The future Earth is in our sustainable action. So be the change before change changes you. So that I conclude. So before concluding, all scholars, all participants in Malaysia is offering a lot of PhD scholarship. It's all scholarship free. Even though pandemic, still you are eligible to apply and you can stay in India and you can continue your PhD with Katin Malaysia. So once restriction all over, you can visit Katin Malaysia. So for more details, you can please visit www.katin.edu.my. So thanks for listening. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Nagarajan. Very extensive and exhaustive presentation. And we really enjoyed your presentation. The entire section is very informative. And we are expecting some questions and queries from the participants, student participants. Majority of the participants are NSS volunteers from different colleges affiliated to the University of Madras, and our own MSc students are also attending this webinar. Maybe they will be interested, put their queries to the speakers of today's session, and we are requesting you to be available online for another few minutes.
Yes, sir.
And in addition to this, we are also thankful for sharing the information regarding the registration for PhD program in Katin University Malaysia campus. And this is a very useful information to the young scholars as well as to the postgraduate students. And in this context, I would like to share with you that our Vice Chancellor also will be interested to have some kind of very strong academic collaboration with Katin University Malaysia. So we would like to have a visual meeting specifically for this purpose at the earliest possible. So how the two universities can come together and collaborate.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So right now that I leave the mic to the organizer. I think there is a faculty from Nasrat College who is comparing the session. May take a lead.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Dr. Nagarajan, sir, Thank you very much for the wonderful ideas shared on the enormous challenges we face during the climatic change and the opportunities to preserve the planet Earth. Thank you so much once again, sir. You ended up so well. And we are moving on to the question and answer session. We can take a couple of questions from the audience. The audience are welcome to put forward the queries. Audience, if you have any questions related to Earth Day, environment, etc., you may ask our esteemed speakers. Both the speakers are available. Either you may put the questions in the chat box or else you may unmute and speak. Thank you. Any questions, audience?
Good noon, sir.
Yes, Ms. Bhuwana, you may speak.
Yeah.
Sir, we all know that ozone was here healing during the lockdown time. Sir, do you think ozone layer can be healed completely if the situation continues?
Yes, everyone knows. I think Dr. Christopher also agree with me. It's like anything in equilibrium. Okay, once it's healed, if anything under equilibrium continues in the similar situation and people's grade is reduced, of course, possible. So it's true, as it's scientifically proven. Even you could see some of the unknown animals, which is not common to your area. It was on the road, dolphins on the Ganges, and these are the unexpected phenomenon happened during COVID. So that is an indication. So many publications are coming about COVID pre and post-COVID situation in terms of biodiversity as well as environment. It is true, which is continued, yes, but in terms of economy development, it's not possible. But sustainable way can help to heal. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions, audience?
And my one question to Dr. Christopher regarding the agriculture, the farming, and you mentioned about that monocrop. So many farmers still they are going for this kind of method, cropping the same crop again and again. And how to create awareness among the farmers?
Thank you, Professor Ramasamy.
Is Dr. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, please.
I hear that actually. Yeah. And it's a good question again. And I appreciate actually the earlier question also by Bhuwana, very innocent and straight question. Professor Nagarajan actually rightly answered, and I really appreciate Bhuwana. And coming to the question of Professor Ramasamy, and the monoculture is a big, actually one of the greatest disaster of our time. It is, as I told actually from the, I am actually fully agreed with Dr. Vandana Shiva in that it is our mindset actually makes the monocultures, because actually a little bit agriculture is okay. It is not become mere around like in our very few people nowadays started cultivating actually home gardens and other things. The profit and the economic, the market particularly, these are the driving forces which is almost killing, actually eradicating the traditional systems. We teach that more productive system, more modern system, hybrid varieties, and shelf life varieties, and more profit making. And see, it is all actually lying in somewhere in the policies. The policies actually they address, we have to educate not the farmers, the policy makers. They're actually the ignorance contribute to the havoc in this monoculture. It affects many things. Actually, we want a quick result, quick money. These are the things. We have 5 years of a political term and a few years of certain government positions. Within that, actually, we wanted to achieve something, and that results in a lot of disaster in this. Probably that awareness should come in that level. That is what actually I wanted to say. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question, audience?
Hi. Good afternoon. I have a general question, ma'am. So, if, during COVID, we've seen there's a lot of difference in nature, and we've seen many extraordinary phenomena in the growth. But what do you think about the daily accessory that we wear, mask, which is made up of polypropylene or polyester, which is an unsustainable material, and how it affects plastic contamination in the ocean and in the land field?
Sorry, this question is to me or Professor Nagarajan?
Sir, you can answer, sir.
Yeah, you please proceed. I think as a geologist, actually, you will have more additions in that. Yeah, I will also supplement. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Basically, in the pandemic scenario, we cannot avoid wearing mask. So we have to do anything, whatever we are utilizing, like daily wastage. So how properly we are disposing, how properly we are controlling, like how you are incinerating those waste. That is an important thing. Like if you properly dispose any mask and properly consume like pyrolysis activities. So when we do the pyrolysis without polluting the atmosphere, we can degrade the waste. It's possible. So it's related to solid waste management. When we properly don't manage, of course, it's going to be a more harmful way, because already many studies have come up in the drainages. They could see the plastics which is related to the mask. So because it's a 3 layers of microplastics, so this will be a more enhanced way, as Prof. Christopher mentioned. These nano to microparticles, which is quite common in aquatic organisms. So particularly fish-eating people may be directly affected. Yeah.
And I would actually just supplement one point in this with Professor Nagarajan. You see, the question is actually about the mask and its impact on the environment, plastic environment. Here, what you have to actually realize is why we are wearing mask. The first question. Second, what kind of actually mask, if at all required, what kind of mask you can alternatively you can use to avoid plastics and other things. See, one thing actually you unnecessarily don't move. That is why it is kind of consumption concept, which I was telling that. It is not mandatory that actually you should wear mask when you require mask, when you are wanted to go out. Why you wanted to use a use and throw mask? Use a cloth mask. Something actually you can wash and use it, reuse it, don't throw it. And otherwise actually you be reduce your unnecessary movements. Avoid actually unnecessary crowding. Just keep it. By that actually, see, it is reducing at a source, then tackling the waste at the end. Always actually we must think in that way, where instead of actually putting many people are throwing mask and how we should actually manage it. Instead of that, every one of us should keep our personal discipline. Certain things actually should avoid unnecessary things. This is how actually we can manage. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have any more questions, or else we shall close the question answer session? Okay, thank you, audience. Thank you, speakers.
Ma'am, I
For
have
the
a
one.
question.
Okay, Nandi.
My question is: are we anywhere improving the current situation of the Earth, or are we destroying it even more and more day by day? Like I saw a little thing on the internet which says that for each day that our Earth is being destroyed about like 1,000 kilometer per day. That our Earth is being destroyed by us, and there is about 200 to 100 species of everything which is getting extinct every single day. So is it getting better or is it getting even worse every single day? That's my question, ma'am.
Okay, I think Christopher sir left the meeting. Okay, I could reflect a bit here, a bit different, because when we take that is the world average data. Whatever we are talking, it reflects the world. But this particular statement, we have to take particular country, because each country has different policy and procedure and different actions. But it's true, even though many actions are taken place, in reality, it is not executed in many of the countries. So even though positive side is there, but negative side is dominating than the positive acts. So positive acts, when it is exceeding the negative acts, then we could see the changes. Until then, it will be in the similar trend. So actually, if you see the recent research, so many research is put forward to protect, to control. For example, in Malaysia, one of the program was implemented to enhance the endangered species rhino. So Discovery Channel and Malaysian Wildlife Natural Channel Committee, they joined together. They developed and they got 3 newborn rhino last 2 years ago. Similarly, they have Orangutan Protective Center, Borneo Tiger Protection Center. So these are all they are having. So whenever we do, for example, another implementation in my state, when a company go and cut the tree in the forest, they have to plant 2 trees in their reforested area. So that company license, if they are not followed, the company license will be stopped, will be returned, expired. So this type of actions is implemented in any of the country or any of the states. Of course, it is possible. But for time being, I agree with you. It's happening still in the negative trend, exponential negative trend. Thank you.
So thank you so much. We now move on to the next session. That's a poster presentation. I now request Ms. Trifosa Mavis, our first year MSW student, to present the poster. May we have Ms. Trifosa on the screen?
The poster presentation will go for 3 minutes each. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, good morning to everyone present here. My name is Trifosa Mavis, and I'm from the Department of Social Work, Nazareth College of Arts and Science. I would like to start by saying that change is inevitable. Right from the beginning, the Earth has been changing and evolving. Multiple changes have occurred over billions of years for the Earth to become the planet that it is today. As humans, we also have aided in the process of change. Like I said, change is inevitable, but the outcomes can be one of 2 ways. It can be either positive or negative. An example for a positive change would be mankind aiding to the expansion and the protection of the flora and fauna of the earth, and thereby conserving it. And the example of a negative outcome could be the consequences of mankind exploiting and abusing the resources that the earth provides for us. Having said that, let's move on to the theme of this webinar and my presentation, Restoring Earth to Normalcy. Restoration is a joint effort. It cannot be done overnight by a single individual, although it takes a single individual to decide to make a change. It takes a single individual at the end of the day. um, we have to do this together. Like, for example, I could quote us fighting against the pandemic, that is the corona situation, by abiding by the laws of our government, like wearing masks outside, social distancing, not going outside in the first place, and washing our hands, keeping ourselves safe from the virus. So that is an example. Likewise, the fight against climate change and other environmental hazards is just as life-threatening. It's just as life-threatening as the pandemic situation that we are currently in. And it has to be a joint effort. Any effort requires sacrifice. Any effort requires sacrifice. The world that we live in at the moment is progressing towards a life that is striving to be comfortable, but is it sustainable? Is it sustainable? Plastics, air conditioners, automobiles, etc., are comfortable, but they have been proven to be unsustainable to our environment. But I am compelled here to not cancel out the accomplishments made by environmentalists, scientists, researchers who are trying to find sustainable remedies to our former errors. For example, alternative fuels to automobiles to help control air pollution, bioremediation, disaster management techniques, etc., are some of the important accomplishments that I can only mention few because of the time. Building knowledge about the earth and why we need to save it is an urgent need, and it calls for immediate action. I'm sure that every one of us, or at least most of us, have heard of climate change, global warming, greenhouse gases, glaciers melting, and because of that, sea levels rising, and because of that, land masses decreasing in size, and the sun's violent hot rays and its health implications. Wildlife dying out, ocean life dying out, species going extinct, destruction of forests, destruction of coral reefs, plastics being dumped in oceans, etc., etc. A lot more. I could name so many, but we cannot specify too much into it. Because every single thing is of huge importance, and every single action that we do is reflected into a bigger consequence. Every single action that we do is having a consequence, be it negative or positive. So I'm sure that we have all heard these terms in our colleges and schools, or at least through the news, um, but has it moved us, or has it influenced us into taking an action towards it? Has it moved us to taking a change, to making change in our lives? Have we made lifestyle changes, or have we talked about this to our peer groups with aims of building knowledge and inculcating the seriousness of the serious situation that is climate change and other environmental hazards? Are we fighting for Earth? Because this is one planet that we have, and we cannot afford to lose it. It is so diverse and it is so beautiful and magnificent, but are we advocating for this beautiful Earth? Like I said earlier, change is inevitable, but it doesn't mean that we do not have a part in it. For few years down the lane, how is this change going to look? Is it going to be a positive change, or is it going to be a negative outcome? With this question, I would like to conclude by quoting this really nice quote by James Penny. Growth is never by chance. It is the result of forces working together. Growth is never by chance. It is the result of forces working together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fosa. That was awesome. I now request Mr. Kingsley Sam, our first year MSW student, to present the poster. May we have Mr. Kingsley on the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, thank you, Kingsley.
Yeah. Just 1 second, ma'am. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kingsley from Nazareth College of Arts and Science and from MSW first year. And this is my first poster. Like in this poster, it says that the earth is in our hands, and Mother Earth. We all call our earth as a Mother Earth. So we give a lot of respect as like a mother. We give respect. But are we giving the same respect that is given to our mother? We are just destroying every day. So how can we just go with the thing, and how can we prevent our earth? Together, we can prevent the coming disaster of climate change and environmental destruction through we can restore our earth. So as of you see the theme for this year for the World Earth Day is like restore our Earth. So when we see in the past like 10 years before, in 2010, the theme was a billion act of trees. So so like that we have to plant a lot of trees. So that was the thing that was in 2010. But now we are come to a position like restore our earth. So we are our earth has been depleting from every day, and our earth is going in a very bad manner. Like we have to restore it to its own to its normal level. So this Earth Day has been celebrated in every April 22nd of April, and typical activities include like planting trees, cleaning surroundings, like conducting various programs for recycling conservation, and using recycled containers for snacks, activities collectively, stop global warming and avoid environmental destruction. So these are the things we are doing for the World Earth Day. But are we following that? Or are we doing it every day? We this for just this one day. So can you just go for the next slide? Next thing. Yes, so thank you. So the second thing, this is my second poster, where you can see Earth rejoices our work every step. Let every breath, every word, and every step make the mother proud, make the mother earth proud of us. So we enjoy every moment of this earth, and we have to make the earth proud of us. So that is a basic goal in every human being. So the earth is giving us everything like food, water, and everything that which we need. So we are destroying the trees and we are doing deforestation. So we need to be we need to have a proper environmental surrounding. We have to plant trees, and we have to make our earth as our own friend, so that we can have an eco-friendly system in our surrounding. So can I go to the next slide, sir? So please, the next one, sir. Yes, thank you, sir. So the final thing is plant a tree, green the earth. Plant a tree so that the next generation can get air for free. So this is the case now we are seeing. So nowadays we don't we are just doing our work with our busy schedules and all those stuff, but we don't have anything to we don't have time to just plant a tree. We don't have time to just focus on our surrounding, and we don't have time to see our environment. So when we plant a tree, that will be useful for the next generation, and that will be a blessing for our generations too. So I want to just conclude with a quote like, progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything, by George Bernard Shaw. So this is the quote, like the progress is only possible by change in when we start to change in our surrounding, we can just change in the community. When we start a change in the community, we can make a change in a village. When we start to make a change in the village, we can make a change in the towns. When we start changing in the towns, then that change will be again will be going to the cities. Then that's from that cities it goes to the districts. Then from districts to the states, and states to the nations, and to the whole of the world. When we start a small change, that can do a great thing. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kingsley. That was splendid indeed. We now have the World Earth Day pledge, and I hope you sight on the screen. I request the audience to take the pledge silently. Thank you.
The link is being posted in the chat box. You can just click the link and the pledge will be delivered to you as a certificate. Lindsay, can we go on to the next session, please?
Sure, ma'am. I now request Mr. Pandian, the coordinator of the Eco Club of Nazareth, to brief about the events. Mr. Pandian?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everyone. An account of World Earth Day, I would like to make an announcement of some of the competition. The events one, poster making on restoring our Earth to normalcy. Event two, photography competition on beautiful Chennai, theme biodiversity. For further detail on this, please contact us. We will help you.
Thank you, Mr. Pandian. We have now come to. You have. Go ahead, Pandian. Is that all?
Ma'am, that's it, ma'am. If
Okay, thank you, Pandian.
they want anything, they contact us, ma'am.
Okay. May I request Mr. Jeevan Kishore, Assistant Professor, Department of Social Work, to propose a vote of thanks?
On behalf of Nazareth College of Arts and Science and Department of Applied Geology, University of Madras, I feel honored and privileged to propose a vote of thanks. On behalf of the management, we express a deep sense of gratitude and sincere thanks to our Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Gauri, for his presence. Thank you, sir. I convey my regards and hearty thanks to our guest speakers, Dr. Christopher Gunnar and Dr. Nagarajan Ramasamy, for his wonderful session. Thank you, sir. I express my sincere thanks to our Secretary, Sir, Mr. Ian Henry Maris, for his support and motivation. A hearty thanks to our Principal Ma'am, Dr. Mary Angelin, who is the backbone of this conference. I thank staff and students of Department of Applied Geology, University of Madras. I also thank the academicians, researchers, and students for their active participation. Thank you once again. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Mr. Jeevan.
Can you just come out for a photograph, please? All the participants and the resource persons. MC. கிருஷ்ணமூர்த்தி சார் கொஞ்சம் முன்னாடி வரணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன் நீங்க. Trifosa, I request the technical team to click a picture. Can you just wait for others to join? யார் எடுக்கறாமா photo? Hey guys, technical team. நீங்க எடுக்கறீங்களா? Okay. Yeah. You need to say cheese so that we can smile.
Cheese. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for all the participants. Krishnamurthy sir, thank you. Dr. Vanita, thank you so much. Dr. Nagarajan, all the way from Malaysia, thank you. Hussain sir, thank you for staying for such a long time. Thank you.
Thank you,
Namaste.
Dr. Ravi.
Thank you. We will see you again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
10 o'clock.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Tune in tomorrow. Thank you. Namaste.